Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we have Kelly Sheridan, the voice of Starlight Glimmer. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. And just to start off the interview, why don't you tell us just a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, as most voiceover actors on the show are. And, I live at home with my husband, and I run a small theater company, and I've been performing for over 20 years
Awesome.
now.
And how was it like being in that theater industry?
It's amazing. I love theater. That's kind of was my first performing love.
Mm-hmm.
So I love live performance. I love the instant feedback you get from an audience. I love how challenging theater scripts are.
Mm-hmm.
I adore it.
And how do you feel that impacted your career in voice acting in any way?
Well, it's amazing training to be a voice actor for sure.
I would imagine.
Just the kind of practice you get in terms of relating to another actor, in terms of learning how to project, and in terms of learning how to make choices quickly, how to take direction, which is a huge part of theater training and a huge part of the work I do as a voice actor. I can come in with a bunch of choices, but they might not necessarily be appropriate for the moment based on other factors that are going on in the show. That, for example, Terry Clausen, who's the director for My Little Pony, would have a broader vision, a broader scope of what that would entail.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I come in with a bunch of choices, but he's the one that says, okay, that'll work, but change it this way, or no, that's actually not where we're going at all with this particular moment or this particular character. And you have to be flexible and learn how to adapt and take what's being thrown at you in the moment. Mm-hmm. And theater training is has been a great experience in learning how to do that.
Good to know. All right. Unlocked. All right, but so yeah, obviously you've been Starlight Glimmer for like the past year or so, and how's it been like to interact with the fandom so far?
Oh, it's been awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been wanting to be on the show for ages, so as soon as I first heard about you guys, I thought, oh, that sounds so fun. So it's been great, and I did my first convention last year around the same time, and it's just been fantastic to meet people and hear their stories and hear how the show has affected them. To see all the art that's come out of the show, the original fan art, the music, and it's been great. They're a huge part of the fandom, and I think there's a real relationship now between the fandom and the people that create the show. You can see how a lot of the fandom's interests and what they would like to see happen in the show is being kind of fed back into the show. Not that I think anyone's pandering, but
it's a very unique interaction, I would say.
It is.
You do not see that with other shows where there's this kind of close relationship between the fandom and the people making it, and it's a good interaction. It's not like you said, it's not pandering. It's, okay, we like this, so, okay, good. It's nice to know you like that. We can give you more of that.
And you can see the people that are in charge of the kind of stories that are told and the kind of animation that's being done, that they like to flirt with the line on what's still appropriate for a children's show, and I don't think they crossed it. I really don't. I think kids are smarter than we give them credit for and able to take more than we give them credit for.
Absolutely.
So it's fun to see them go like, okay, well, how can we make this interesting for everybody?
Right. And they just, they throw in some like interesting background stuff, and the adults get it, but for the kids, it's like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of stuff I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So other than being Starlight Glimmer, what would you say is your favorite role that you've done?
Oh, there have been so many over the years, but one in particular would be Joss Whedon wrote a short series for Astonishing X-Men, and there was a motion comic created of it. So, and I love Joss Whedon. He's probably one of my favorite creators ever. So when they held auditions for the motion comic, I really wanted a part, which is a dangerous place to be as an actor when you don't want something too badly, because most of the things you audition for, you just don't get. That's part of what being an actor is. But I worked really hard. I auditioned for the show, and I got the role of Hisako, who's Wolverine is kind of her mentor in the show. They have kind of a love-hate relationship. And she's an amazing character, but it was just so incredible to get to be able to say words that Joss Whedon wrote. And then to add X-Men on top of that was pretty amazing. Right, and a brand new X-Men character that he had created. Yeah. So that was pretty great.
So you're having a bit of a geek out moment, you would say.
So geek out. And one of the fantastic things was the script we received was his original treatment for the comic. So all of the stage directions are him writing notes to, I can't remember who the lead illustrator on that comic was now, but they're little notes of like, yeah, make sure she looks really freaked out in this moment, or these little jokey sides that he wrote that you don't get when you read the comic.
Right.
But we got to kind of the inside scoop and got to see all of that stuff. So that was extra fun and special.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And so we did notice that you were on the original My Little Pony cartoon, or one of the originals, Ponytails.
I was.
So how has it been like to see like the evolution of MLP from then until now?
It's been great. I think the biggest jump has obviously been between this incarnation and the one just previous.
Gen 3 was it was something,
yeah,
to say the least.
I mean, each one had its time and had its thing, and they were popular for their own reasons. But I think Lauren Faust has done something really exceptionally special with this show, and it's the kind of show I would have loved when I was a young person. So I'm really not surprised that it's been as popular as it has been. But it was fun. That was one of my first gigs. I got to play Melody on Ponytails. In fact, a fan came up to me the other day and he had an original Melody doll with roller skates. I didn't even know they made one wearing roller skates. Yeah, it was pretty great. I don't know where he found it, but he dug it out of the vault somewhere.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
All right, so what do you most like about playing Starlight Glimmer?
I like how complex she is. That she... I've been able to play such a huge range of emotion, and that any good character really wants something desperately. And what she wants has changed over time, but she always wants something really badly. And that's easy as an actor. When you're clear on what your character's motivation is, that's about half of the work that's done for you. And that's really the writing. You know, the writing's very clear for Starlight. So thanks to the show writers for that. Makes my job easier. But she's so dynamic and it's fun. She's very layered, and there's always something going on under the surface, which is really, really fun as an actor to play. And most of the time you don't get to do that in animation.
All right, and speaking of that, actually, we've seen that you've worked on some animes and other stuff.
We did an anime panel today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I missed that then.
It was fun.
But just a quick question of what do you believe is a difference that you would mention between working on anime and Western animation?
Well, the main difference is a lot of the performance has been decided for you ahead of time with any kind of dubbed recording or ADR recording. So you're trying to match someone else's animation or someone else's performance. And it's challenging in that way, and you're also doing it by yourself, so you're not interacting directly with the other actors on the show like we do if we're recording My Little Pony, where we're all in the room together and able to play off of each other. So it's challenging in that way, and oftentimes you're working with something that's been translated from another language, so you're sometimes that translation is very different from the original intention of the writer, because it's something that's untranslatable.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make this oddly translated thing make sense.
So has there been something in particular that's been difficult for you in that aspect, or like one particular role?
I'm trying to think of... No, I mean, not necessarily in terms of that. The ADR roles that are always toughest are the ones that are technically hardest, the ones that involve a lot of screaming or yelling, things that are hard on your voice, or the things that are, if your character has a giant monologue and they're on screen the whole time and you're trying to fit this huge thing with no pauses into all these mouth flaps. So it's always the technical things for shows like that are difficult.
Yeah, a bit of a load on your voice to have to do all of that, and it's all got to be in one take, I bet, too. So, and
because it's just you, so if we're recording My Little Pony and I'm not in a scene, I know I get to sit down and have a little break for a couple of minutes and let someone else play their scene, and then I get up and do my thing. But if it's just you in a studio doing dubbing a show, you're dubbing like 12 episodes or something in one go for one session.
Right, that's a lot.
It's just you, you and the mic.
All right, so what is one thing you really like about visiting San Francisco?
Just one thing?
I
like so many things.
Multiple, absolutely.
The food, I love the food. And I haven't been able to see much of the city yet, but I am staying a bit after the convention to get to
lucky
check stuff out. Yeah, super lucky. yeah, the food's been the main thing. But I have a few things on my list. I'd like to go to Alcatraz, and I'd like to check out Haight-Ashbury, and I'd like to check out the Castro, and go to the LGBTQ museum while I'm there.
I've wanted to go to that for a while now, but we never have time on these trips because it's just so time consuming to be here at BABSCon. You're like, oh, well, I don't want to miss that panel, and we
That's
got
why
to
I
do an
booked more
interview.
time. Because I knew I was going to be very busy, and it's hard to leave. It's kind of fun. There's lots of fun stuff going on here, so I'll take the extra time and check some stuff out. The
unfortunately busy life of a college student, having to be back on Monday.
Yes.
Drats, I would love to stay, but...
I'm not one of those. Not a college student. Not anymore.
Yeah, not fun times, but not the best of times. It's good to have a bit of freedom, so... All right, and I think this will be our last question. Are you aware of a nickname Glim Glam for Starlight Glimmer?
You can't flim flam the Glim Glam.
Nice. All right, so if you were to give her a personal nickname yourself, what would you give her as a nickname?
I don't know. Is there any beating Glim Glam? That's pretty amazing.
It is a really catchy, nice nickname, I got to admit.
It's pretty good. No, I'm going to stick with Glim Glam.
All right, you heard it here first.
I had to Google it.
All right. All right.
Thanks, Reddit.
Oh, exactly. Like you learn so much just going through the different threads. It's like a big black hole of time. But yeah, that should wrap up our interview, guys. So thank you so much. This has been Hoof Hearted. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr, and also on YouTube. And yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.